The home buying madness has continued this summer, but that's all about to change when we get to the fall and winter of this year. Check out this new real estate information coming up. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your #1 real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the Las Vegas real estate market and real estate in general, then definitely subscribe to the channel down below. Number 2, make sure to give me a thumbs up like, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number 3, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. I know every inch of this city. Just call, text, or email me when that time is right for you, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So the home buying madness has been in full force this summer, so much so that popular real estate websites like Zillow are now predicting that home prices are going to go up even more in many markets. This is all just absurd information to me. The moment we receive any bad economic data that I think is going to come out in the fall or winter of this year, I think the markets are going to freeze up. And then I think there's going to be some meaningful price drops, at least in the housing market, as we get late into this year and well into 2024. And I'm going to show you exactly why I think that's going to happen in the upcoming segments. All right, so I wanted to start with this chart because this is the first and most important one that I want to show you in this entire video. This is the 10-year Treasury yield chart. Now, I know it looks a little bit confusing, but I just want to show you a couple of points here because this has predicted over the last 40 years or so with exact 100% precision that a recession is going to occur. And right now we are on the verge of that happening yet again. I want you guys to take a look here. There's a few sentences that I just want to read to you real quick here. It says right at the top, as you can see below, every time the blue line drops below the horizontal black line, it means there's a yield inversion. So here's the black line right here. And then you can see the blue jagged lines that go down and then go up. When they go down and then they go up, you can see these 5 red arrows. Every time it's gone down below the black line and then above it, a recession has happened. So one of them happened here in the early 1980s, then in the late 1980s, then around 2000, and then of course in the 2008 period. Every time it's gone down below the blue line and then back up, there's always been a big recession. And look what's happening here in the present day now. Right down here, it's at the lowest level in the last, say, 40 years or so, just about to that point, all the way back to, say, around 1980. It's gone all the way down and it hasn't gone back above that black line. Once it hits that black line, which is happening soon, this is going to be an incoming recession right here on this chart. This chart is predicted with 100% certainty these previous recessions, and I believe this is now going to happen again. We don't know an exact timeline, but this is definitely going to happen again. And when it does, it's likely going to be a pretty strong recession, and that's going to happen maybe within the next 6 to 12 months. And when a recession happens, the housing market is going to drop as well. All right, let's take a look at this chart. This is the home price to median income ratio chart. And what this basically means is what people are earning for income compared to where home prices currently are. Now, this chart goes all the way back to 1950, and you can see all of these jagged lines. The lower these jagged lines are on the chart, the more affordability there was for people to buy a home. Then we saw the big spike in real estate back in the early 2000s, and it peaked in that 2008 period, and then it just fell off a cliff and it went back to being affordable. Now take a look right underneath my picture here where it's circled. We're at the highest level now of unaffordability in terms of what people are earning compared to where home prices are. And we saw what happened back in 2006, 2008. It just completely fell off. It took a couple of years, but it fell off. Now we are at an even higher level. So again, the assumption is with the potential of a recession coming, there is going to be a fall off in this real estate market because there's no way that we can have this kind of unaffordability because incomes have not gone up to match where home prices currently are. All right, so now let's drill down into a few cities that were really affected badly in the last housing bubble. I want to start here in the Las Vegas metro. You can see year over year we're down about 8%, but I want you to take a look at this chart. This is housing bubble 1, housing bubble 2. So this was back in about the 2006 or 2008 time period where we peaked right here, and then it fell off to about 2011 or 12. So it took a few years to bottom. Then it peaked all the way in the last 10 years or so, especially in the last few years from the pandemic. It went straight up. And now we're right at these levels here. So again, we're at higher levels than we were back in that 2008 bubble. So again, it's very likely to see this kind of a drop off happen, even though it might take a little bit of time. Same thing happened if we go here to Phoenix. Same thing, housing bubble here, 2008, down to 2011 or 12. Peaked all the way up, almost identical to Vegas. If we go down here and we take a look at San Diego, same thing in San Diego. same time period, didn't go down as much, but again, look at how high the level is now before we see any kind of a drop off. And if we go here to one more city, we go to Portland, again, a little bit less in terms of it being more of a gradual drop off, but the peak here again in that 2008 period dropped down, not as severe as Vegas or Phoenix. Now again, we're all at this same level. So we're just pretty much waiting for the next shoe to drop and seeing when that bad economic data is going to come out, when the recession is coming, because that drop off is definitely coming in most major cities. All right, so I want you guys to take a look at this quick 30-second clip from Reventure Consulting. This is a popular YouTuber. I like a lot of his work. He's talking specifically about the Las Vegas area where I happen to be located, which also happens to be the most popular, most moved to city in the entire country. I want you to take a look at the clip, and then I'm going to comment on the other side when we get done watching it.
Top 10 worst cities to buy a house in America right now. Las Vegas at number 10, where home prices have dropped by 5.4% over the last year and have another 23% decline to go before Vegas hits its fair value home price, with the primary issue in Las Vegas's housing market being an utter lack of affordability. If you were to go to buy a house in Vegas right now, you would have to pay over $400,000 to purchase it, with a typical monthly mortgage and property tax payment of nearly $2,700 a month. Levels that the locals in Las Vegas simply cannot afford, with the median household income in the metro being only $67,000 per year, which means that the typical local in Vegas needs to spend 45% of their gross income to afford house payments in today's housing market, a situation which is not sustainable, especially now the influx of California home buyers and investors has dropped.
So the big takeaway from that again is the housing affordability issue, because the average income earner in Las Vegas is only making about $67,000 a year, where the average home price now is pushing $450,000 a year. That is completely out of whack. That's the largest disparity we've ever had here in Las Vegas. And even though I like Nick's work from Reventure, I think he's getting out a little bit over his skis here, because you can see right here, right in the middle of that picture, if you can see that yellow highlight, I'll read it to you. He thinks the fair home value price in Las Vegas should be about $309,000. That means we should revert back to around $300,000, even though we're at $450,000. That is never going to happen, in my opinion. I think we're definitely going to see price declines, but not in the order of about 30 to 35% from where we are right now. My prediction is that home prices in Las Vegas are going to start to fall off when we get to the holiday time period. If we get into a full recession mode, we could drop 10, 20%. I don't think we're going to drop down 30 or 40% and crash massively like a lot of people are thinking when we had that crash in 2008. But I do think those meaningful price reductions are going to take time. It's going to take the rest of the year for it to first start happening, in my opinion, and it's going to take well into 2024. It could take well over a year before we bottom out on home prices, especially here in Las Vegas. All right, so if you guys follow my channel, I know a lot of you like to take a look at Zillow, so I go to this website each week just to find all of these different price points and show you how overpriced a lot of these homes still are here in the Las Vegas area, starting in the luxury space. So let's take a look at this one right here. This is a $5 million luxury home. You can see that it had a price cut on August 1st of $500,000. But let's do this. Let's take a look at the bottom right here where I highlighted this. About 4 years ago, back in 2019, this home was sold for $1.2 million. And 4 years later, the sellers are trying to list it back in July, so only about a month or so ago, they were trying to list it for $6 million. That's a 400% increase in 4 years. That has never happened in the entire history of real estate. That's why a lot of these sellers, especially in the luxury space, are delusional to think they're going to get this kind of a price point. So what they did back towards the end of July, they cut the price of $500,000 down to $5.5 million, and then they cut it again. So they basically cut $1 million off in less than a month, and now it's currently listed at $5 million. So again, it doesn't matter if you're in the luxury space, which I know a lot of people are not, or at the lower price points. These sellers still think they're going to be getting last year's prices, and they're not. They are overpriced, and when they're overpriced, they're going to sit on the market until they finally come back to reality. And I'm going to show you in the next example a more moderately priced home and then a lower price home, because it's happening at all different price points here in the Las Vegas area. All right, so now let's take a look at another very similar example, except at a lower price point. Now, this home for sale in Las Vegas is listed right now at $700,000. The price cut that happened last month was $75,000. So they had this listed at about $775,000. But more importantly, take a look down here in the bottom right. About 18 months ago, January of 2022, this home was sold for $500,000, and the sellers back in May, which wasn't even really 18 months later, they tried selling the home for $800,000. They tried making a profit of about $300,000 in less than a year and a half. Again, that has never happened from home price appreciation that quickly in the history of real estate. So what they've been doing is they've been lowering the price to $775, and now it's down to $699, and there's still no takers. In fact, Zillow, which estimates the current home value, they have it listed right now at about $685. So again, this home has come down about $100,000. Now, it's still a lot more than the $500,000 that the sellers paid a year and a half ago, but it's come down about $100,000. It's likely going to drop even more, especially if there's no buyers during this summer time period, because it's going to probably cool off even more so in the fall and winter. So again, waiting and being patient is the prudent play if you want to get a good deal on a home. That's why it's always better to buy in the winter time, not during this peak summertime, because I think prices are certainly going to be lower by the time we get to the new year. All right, so let's take a look at this one final example of a home here that's for sale in the Las Vegas area. You can see right next to my picture, this home is currently listed at $550,000. So we're getting closer to the average price point here. There was a price cut of $25,000 on this home at the beginning of August. So this was at about $575. It's now down to $550. But more importantly, take a look right here where I'm moving the arrow. About a year ago, June 2022, you can see right next to the arrow there to the right, about a year or so ago, this home was valued at $671. Now the Zillow estimate right here is $540. So in the course of 1 year, if you waited, last year you would have bought this home at about $670. Right now you can get this home for about $540. So again, that's why I keep saying patience is the prudent play. Even though interest rates have gone up, you still don't want to overpay for homes, and home prices have still yet to come down in a meaningful way. That's why if you're patient, you wait through the rest of this year and into 2024, I think home prices, even at this price point, they're still going to keep dropping. So here's my summary for all of that information in just 3 words. Stop the madness. Home prices are near record highs. Interest rates are at 20-year highs. This is the popular spring-summer buying season where a lot of people buy into this market, and it is the wrong time to buy a home. Historically speaking, the best time to buy a home is in the December through February time period where there's less buyers. I think by the time we get to the fall and winter, especially if interest rates go even higher, I think we're going to see the markets reverse. We're going to finally start to see prices go down. I think bigger price drops are going to happen well into 2024. So if you're looking to buy a home, try not to do anything right now. Wait to the end of the year and well into 2024 before you think about buying a home. So before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to John. Now you can see John's comments here on screen, which is really pretty shocking. He lives in a 1,500 square foot home here in the Las Vegas area. His energy bill last month was about $300, and now it's spiked up this month to $550. Now, obviously it's very hot in the summertime here in Vegas, but energy bills going up that much in just 1 month is absolutely unprecedented. The reason I'm bringing this up, guys, is because when you see the media reports talk about how inflation and costs are coming down, that's nonsense. Prices are continuing to go up in a lot of different sectors, and I'd be interested to hear in the comments section from you guys to let me know in your part of the country what's going on with your energy costs. And just remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave me a cool or creative comment down below, and of course, like the video as well. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct shout out to in next week's video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I also hope you appreciate my transparency. Like I've said before, I'm always going to keep it 100% real on this channel regarding the overall real estate market, with specific emphasis here in the Las Vegas area. So here's my advice to you guys. Definitely sit tight right now. Don't buy a home if you don't have to. There's going to be a lot of buyer's remorse out there for people buying into such high prices and such high interest rates. Wait until at least the end of the year. I think that's where we're going to start to finally see prices decline. And I think we're going to see even bigger price declines well into 2024. If you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, not right now, but when the timing is a little bit better, maybe towards the end of the year and into 2024, if you're thinking about relocating to the Las Vegas area, I'm a local real estate agent here. I know this city like the back of my hand. I've lived here for nearly 20 years. When that time is right, whether it's in a few months or next year, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you guys in the next video.